We now move over to Africa for our next story, where the Democratic Republic of Congo and Rwanda have held their first talks after signing a peace deal to end decades of deadly conflict in mineral-rich eastern Congo. Eastern DRC, a region bordering Rwanda with abundant natural resources, has been plagued by violence for more than 3 decades, and the unrest has claimed thousands of lives. The agreement was hailed as a significant milestone by the African Union and the United States and follows a long series of truces and ceasefires that have been systemically broken. The deal outlines provisions for the respect for territorial integrity and halting hostilities in eastern DRC, which are still, however, to be implemented. The deal reportedly includes economic measures but has few details. According to the Congolese government and the UN, the violence has left thousands dead and exacerbated a humanitarian crisis for hundreds of thousands of displaced people. Rwanda denies providing military support to the M23, but says its security has long been threatened by armed groups, including the Democratic Forces for the Liberation of Rwanda. We're now joined by Dr. Charles Sinkala. He's an international relations expert located in Johannesburg, South Africa. Thank you very much, Dr. Sinkala, for joining us on the programme. Pleasure to have you. What is your view of the state of this ceasefire right now? Obviously, a ceasefire was agreed back in April of 2025. However, this went on and the M23 seized 2 villages outside peace talks in July just gone. What are your thoughts on how or if this peace deal is going to hold?
Well, thank you very much for having me, and it's a pleasure always being invited on such a platform to discuss. My view on Democratic Republic of Congo and the Rwanda relations is that it has been very difficult, for all the peace agreements that have been established before the April 1 and before the January 1, 2025, and other peace accords which has been established between the 2 countries. And I think we have to go back as far as 1960, when Patrice Emery Lumumba was killed and replaced by Mobutu Sese Seko Kukombendu Ngwazambanga. Through this time and processes, there's been a lot of conflicts between the DRC that has made it difficult for them to restore peace. But going to Rwanda and DRC peace talks, I think they have yielded nothing but just a talk show without any hope of them resolving. I think peace talks has to be done within the DRC as opposed to areas being hosted in Qatar or recently in the United States of America. Also, there is a point that we have to put into consideration that there is over 150 militia groups that are in DRC. Rwanda is just a small piece of participants. Those who are protecting the Hutus that origins from Rwanda. And the focus should not merely be in terms of the peace to stabilize DRC by resolving the relations with Rwanda, but many other actors who are there in the Democratic Republic of Congo.
Yes, Dr. Sinkala, there's been an estimated 2.5 million people displaced since the year of 2022. What more can you tell us about the humanitarian crisis that the conflict between the M23 rebels and DRC forces have caused?
Of course, indeed, there has been no statistics of more than 2.5 million people has been displaced, and DRC continues to produce asylum seekers. Not far away from DRC, there's Zambia, which had a Maeva refugee camp, which has been there since the early 80s, and many other African countries has already started issuing asylum seekers, especially South Africa and many other parts, including the United States of America at one point. But now visa restrictions, they have said is too much. They can only hold such people who are displaced from Democratic Republic of Congo. Many of them has been displaced, especially in the northern part, eastern part of Goma, where the conflict-torn zone, where there's mineral wealth and mineral rich of the DRC, that has been displaced, and they continue to do that because of the military contractors, who has been providing security and military support for those who are mining gold, diamond, whichever the minerals are up there. And it has become very difficult for them to work with the locals, as the locals feel that they need to be included, in terms of the mining and other activities that are happening. So the trend continues, and I think it will be very difficult at this stage, should the actors not be found to be part of the solution rather than what they're distracting. And also another point to note is the escalation of military support in the Democratic Republic of Congo has done nothing but to exacerbate the regional conflicts within the areas, as armed groups have been armed instead of being disarmed.
Yes, Dr. Charles Sinkala, thank you very much for joining us here on NewsX World. Pleasure to have you on the programme. Well, that is all that we have time for this hour. We will continue to bring you more news updates from around the world. Thank you for joining us.